We want them to pay us some attention. We are taxpayers, and we deserve, not to have this in front of our homes.
The city facing backlash as Springfield residents speak out against the city failing to follow its own ordinances. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Some residents have some harsh words for the city, as you just heard.
Yeah, this after News Channel 20's investigation found the city isn't complying with its own codes. Our public records request revealed that there is no registry for abandoned buildings, even though the city is required to keep one. That responsibility, it falls on the Department of Public Works. Now, they tell us there's no timeline for when a list will be put together or when it will be available for you to see.
News Channel 20's Jordan Elder has been working for you all day, talking to Springfield residents and tracking down those city officials. She's joining us live in studio with how they're reacting to this discovery. Jordan?
Stacy, Springfield residents tell me they feel like their city failed them. Many of you have been reporting the abandoned properties in your neighborhoods for months, even years. City council members told me this situation is disrespectful to the community, and now they're trying to figure out how to fix it. With no registry for abandoned buildings, blighted properties in Springfield have sat empty for years, like this one, and this one, and this one across from Denise Shields.
When I get up in the morning, and I look out the window, first thing I see is this mess. This is a disaster to our neighborhood.
Shields says this house on Reynolds Street has been empty for almost a decade, about as long as this ordinance has required the city to keep a registry. We checked back in with Alderman Joe MCMENAMIN about our discovery. How are you going to pull for transparency on this issue?
Well, I think lots of folks are going to see this TV interview, and I hope it gets their attention, especially those within city government.
And now that people have seen it, MCMENAMIN says he's brought it to the mayor's attention and wants to know how this happened.
We've had a lot of turnover within Public Works in the positions that would be required to know about this list and do something about it.
How is turnover an excuse for kind of letting this slip through the cracks when there are residents across the city that this is a really big deal to them?
This is one of those situations, again, where everyone's to blame and no one is to be blamed in particular.
MCMENAMIN and Alderman Sean Gregory have both dealt with blight in their wards. They tell us this ultimately falls on city officials who aren't currently following their own city code. How does that make you feel with your elected officials that they let this happen?
They have their priorities wrong, because we as citizens of Springfield, we are the priority. Because without us, how would they get into office?
You are city government, so what are you going to do to make sure this gets solved?
Oh, I'm definitely going to have a conversation with our mayor, because it starts there. I look forward to going to the drawing table and coming up with a solution to make sure that this does not happen again, because we cannot have it.
The aldermen tell me that this list does work when it's maintained. I actually spoke with Joe MCMENAMIN at the site of the former Esquire Theater on MacArthur, which was torn down after it sat on that registry for 3 years. Officials say it's important to get this list together so problem properties across the city can finally be dealt with. Live in studio, I'm Jordan Elder. Back to you.
All right, thanks for that update, Jordan. Now, both aldermen say high-ranking officials within Public Works should have taken responsibility for this. We're going to continue to follow how and when the department will finally get this list of abandoned properties together.